Okay, we're back in session. So we're going to go through and make some determinations or hopefully decisions. So I guess the first one is the one, I guess the first one we need to look at is number 10. That was the last one we heard.
Just to give you a baseline, if you look at the field card, we don't have a code for a salt box style, but the salt box is being taken into account the roof line. If you flip your field card over on the top construction detail, you'll see Cape Cod style, and if you go down a few, you'll see roof structure, salt box. That's as best as we can do with the software that we have.
So, Brad, you have any ideas on this?
No, I think as he was talking through it, it became pretty clear, you know, compared to the ones that he brought to our attention, I think it's strictly a case of, you know, his is built in 1993 and has an effective year built of 2002. So he's only got 22% depreciation applied to his replacement cost, right? And in all of the other cases, he's bringing properties built in 1948, 1950, just simply older, mostly 1950, and they have depreciation rates from 44 to 57% applied. So I think that's why he's seeing a bigger jump. He just has more less depreciated, newer improvements. I think that's the one main thing. He also brought up site value. His is, it's a pretty small lot compared to the others. His is assessed for $190 and change. The others are kind of ranging from $195 to $205. So maybe there's like I get where he's coming from, but I know that the way that we look at these lots is that any buildable lot, you're paying to build a house on it, so the value of each additional square foot, there's a diminishing return to that, so it makes sense that there's a slight adjustment. I mean, it's kind of, he's got one site that's, twice as big or 3 times as big as his. It's assessed for $214, and his is at $190. That's, yeah. Right, I was thinking about that, and I think that's the only other thing that I thought of is he observed that he, is on a dirt road, where his neighbors are on a paved road. Doesn't seem like there's a prospect of getting paved. He has the benefit of maybe a little bit less traffic and more privacy, even though I know it's a pretty densely developed area. I wondered if the dirt road, if there were, we might consider some kind of external obsolescence or some kind of adjustment, but I don't know what we do, whether we even consider dirt road versus paved road as a factor in that. But I thought, I just, in listening to him, I just wanted to bring forward what I heard in his, one more thing, I'm sorry, sorry guys to belabor it. He purchased it for $402 about 1 year before the assessment date, $402,000, and then he got assessed for $518. So I can kind of see, I know 1 year went by, and we're seeing double-digit price increases in that period, or even if it was, 8% per year by the assessment. The value would have gone up if 402 was reflective of a market price, but yeah, 518 is a big jump compared to what he paid just a year before the date of assessment.
Just to clarify, for the sales used for single families in town, we didn't go back more than 1 year, so that's not a subject sale, and that wasn't taken into account. Sometimes we'll go back for, usually a multifamily, we might go back 2 years, 3 years, or certain land sales, they just aren't frequent, but we were really confident with our single family sales, so just something to be mindful of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I got, just for kind of laying out the issues.
Brad, I'd also like to clarify, when you look at age of homes, you want to make sure you're going by the effective year built, not the actual year built. That's what they're being taxed from and their depreciation is from.
Right. Thank you. No, and it's true. The comparables, the assessment comparables he brought forward, even though they were built in 1950, they are assessed based on the year built from 1967, 1980, and that's essentially how the company factors in condition. That's to me, depreciation is just a reflection of condition. And they're kind of saying this subject, his property is in better condition than those around it, which makes sense. And I imagine, the grade too, I think it's average plus 10, and that probably is also just reflective of the newer, it's a newer, more modern build, higher quality, potentially, so.
Brad, I was also kind of stuck on the price. He closed on this in December of '23, so it's real close to '24, and that is a big jump from what he bought it for and then what it's assessed for. So that is troubling to me, and it does seem a bit excessive.
I mean, when you run the numbers on the square foot of the house, it's coming out around $223 a square foot. So, I mean, it's a very simple house. I mean, prices are kind of up there now on houses, in this day and age, but back then, maybe a little bit less. I hear what both of you gentlemen are saying. I can understand this point. However, when I listen to Brad, I look at the other lots that are, the other houses in the lots are all, the lots are all priced about where this should be, in my opinion. So it's really the house, and then again, we've got that age factor. So I don't know if we have a real basis to try to lower this unless we just say, hey, we're going to lower it. So.
Yeah, no, I think that, for Ken's point, I think the recent sale is one thing that we have to grab onto, but I kind of agree with you just in terms of what our threshold is, because I think we're going to see other appeals where we will want to see, more data, an appraisal, to support an adjustment. So yeah, other than the recent sale, I don't know what basis I see.
And Ken, there's no other, that's about the only recent sale in that area, correct? I mean, can you?
That I don't.
Yeah.
It's tricky too, because I think that the homes are also different down there, a lot of them. Some of the, they were the ones that were built in the 50s. They vary. One of them's twice as big, and his, yeah.
They do vary greatly in that neighborhood.
Well, they're mostly in the 3s and low 4s. The others are, all the other houses on that street are in the 300s or low 400s, and these in the low 500s.
There were 13 sales in Vision neighborhood, not Indian Lake neighborhood, but if you look at the landline valuation to the right of condition, it says neighborhood 0055. Last reval, I don't know if you remember, there were a lot of neighborhood swings, specifically at Sycamore, it was like 200%. This reval, there was little to no change on many of the neighborhoods. There were a select few that went up, and one of them was neighborhood coded 0055. There's 481 properties in that neighborhood. The old weight is 1.20, the new weight is 1.25, so there was a 4% neighborhood change. Just something to be mindful of, not everyone got that hit, but for this particular parcel at 53 Indian Run Trail, the overall increase is 31%, so just to unpack it, the land increase is 38%, the average increase was 30% for land, and then it fluctuated from there. The overall style for the Cape, I know he's got the Cape with the roof line being salt box, but the house was 27%. The overall increase is about 26 to 28 for Cape. So I think from the town's perspective, it's in line. And then he also has the 41%, 4% neighborhood. So the overall increase of 31%, although excessive, that's how that kind of unpacked for this particular parcel. I can keep going, but...
When you saying like the increase, like from the old assessment to the new assessment, was on average 33%?
31% overall, and if you were to redact, assessments, we're not gonna unpack it, but if the land went up 38%, the house went up 27, and the neighborhood went up 4, obviously, those together don't equal 31, but the overall parcel increase, there, some just get one factor, maybe just the land went up, you know, or vice versa. He kinda got a little bit of the style increase, that the land and the neighborhood, just so you're aware of this particular parcel. Not everyone's gonna have that neighborhood, he's got that 4%. Everyone in the neighborhood.
All right, so if, just to follow that logic, not that it's 100% accurate, but he was assessed at 355.3, is that correct before?
That is correct.
So 31% would be roughly 110, so that would bring it to 465 on average. So he is being assessed higher than the average based on that.
If you want to go with that, yes.
Yeah. Again, that doesn't mean that's the only thing to go on, but just. Yeah, so if he went up 31%, his assessment would be roughly 465, and it's at 518, and that just feels a little heavy to me, but I'm not saying it's 100% incorrect.
I think, yeah, and I think considering what he paid for it, a short time before the assessment, if we make a small adjustment, I would be open to it. I think so. It doesn't have to be huge, but that's what I would be looking for as a way to, kind of just acknowledge that he's taking a little bit more of a hit, I think, because he's got a newer building. I think that he absorbs a bigger hit, in addition to the neighborhood and land value increasing. I think that's what's happening a little bit. But it does seem, as you say, kind of on the upper end of, it's kind of on the top end of the scale. Even if it's relatively consistent with what's happening, the rising votes in the whole neighborhood.
The comps that the appellant provided, which are in your packets, if you want to look behind the, oh gosh, I'm not sure actually if it was in front or behind the appeal, but you'll see he's using 56 Indian Run Trail, 15 Indian Head Trail, 64 Indian Run Trail, and 70 Indian Run Trail. And like you mentioned, Mr. Hebner, you've got a colonial, split level, a ranch,
Yeah.
a cape with all different. So the comps that the town use, and you may want to, before you make your final decision, just go to 910 Broad Rock Road. Although it's a different neighborhood, if you put both those wheel cards back to back, you're going to see a pretty similar, the building value here is at 323,300 for 910 Broad Rock. For 53 Indian Run Trail, it's 327,300. And if you look at the land line, even though it's a different neighborhood, similar footprint, the bulk of that land line is 205,700, and the appellant is 199. So the total value for 910 Broad Rock is 539, and then the total value for 53 Indian Run Trail is 518.2. If you turn the card over, I use the effective year built. They're both the same. They're both the same style. And if you look at the photo, unfortunately, 910 Broad Rock Road, we didn't capture that that salt box roof structure. So we've got it as a gable. So that may be something we change. But based on the square footage, it's exactly the same, 1469. So that was the town's comp. Just something to be mindful of when you make your decision.
Yeah, it's helpful to me actually because I can see the unit costs are almost exactly the same as the subject. It looks it's hard to tell from this photo. It's hard to tell. I mean, it looks like the other one has some maybe vinyl siding more recently.
Broad Rock Road has more land.
I'm sorry, say that again, Alice?
The Broad Rock Road has more land, I believe.
Yeah, it's on almost an acre. It's assessed at $205,000. But again, I think a 1 acre building site in Broad Rock might compare to a quarter acre or in or whatever, when you run hard.
Okay.
The only difference that you will see is, if you look at that landline, same condition factor for the town's comp, that condition of 1.0. And then you're gonna see that neighborhood adjustment, see how it says 0.95, and then his neighborhood adjustment is 1.25. That's that increase for that neighborhood, so, with proportion to the neighborhoods. So it's important to look at the increase for Indian Run, that 4%, but in the overall scheme of things, just be mindful of that small, minor increase. It's hard to redact just the land, right? You're not just appealing just land or the building, but just something to be mindful of.
Any other thoughts or ideas on this? Again, it just feels a little too heavy for me, but I'm not necessarily going to dispute the information that has been provided that shows it's not.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Ken. I mean, I think when we drill down to this, everything looks in line. However, we're thinking we may want to lower it, so I'll leave it up to somebody that may want to make a motion.
Just to speak to Mr. Monroe, just to give you one more little footprint about where you might be headed. I don't know the board, obviously, it'll be the pleasure of the board, and we will do what you so deem us to. If you were and had the appetite to make the reduction, it sounded like you were comfortable with that 465. So if we took 53 Indian Run Trail from 518,200 down to 465 even, your gentleman's looking at a $475.61 abatement.
I'd be more comfortable with some form of a compromise between the two, giving him a reduction, but not necessarily to that, because again, based on the information that the town has provided and we've discussed, it's not as clear cut as just being the 31%, but maybe lowering it, kind of splitting the difference a little bit, and maybe lowering it in the neighborhood of $25,000, because it's a $50,000 is what we're talking about. So I think that's a fair compromise in my opinion.
I agree. I think something around 500, the upper fours, kind of just it kind of acknowledges some of the issues that we're raising. I don't know if that could be done by a very small adjustment to the depreciation, saying effective year bill 2000. I don't know if we can mess with that, but
I can do an override temporarily. Board adjustments aren't necessarily permanent. It's up to the town whether we want to kind of clean slate for a reval or not.
Yeah.
But if I can do it a couple different ways. My computer, when it's not on my desktop, acts really funky, and I don't know if it's a ticket. This happened last time with me, but for some reason it works when I'm downstairs. When I'm up here, the CAMA software, I just did a change just to see, and it didn't do what I wanted it to do, so I don't want to rely on that other than my good old calculator right now. So I couldn't tinker right this moment to let you know, but whether you want me to do it and then come back at the next meeting and tell you, or you just come up with a value and then we'll figure it out.
Maybe if it's a $25,000 reduction, we just and we just tell you something along those lines. That I can't do the math in my head, but it puts it at like 497 or something like that, or something along those lines. I would just say keep it simple and let the assessor's office worry about the details.
Yeah, I would like to see it somewhere in the value of the 495 plus or minus. Yeah. In that range, and if the town wants to kind of fine tune that, but that type of a reduction is something that I would be in support of.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Correct? So we're basing that reduction on I'm at a loss of words here. I mean, basically, it's going to be the value of the house is, we're just gonna reduce like the depreciation on the house is what I'm trying to say. Is that correct? Do we have to come up with a specific,
I think the
function to lower the price?
I don't have a wording, but I just think the support from the market is the recent sale at 402. That's the rationale to apply some kind of reduction. So relative to the recent sale, and if you just bought it for $500,000, as we sometimes see, or more, I would be less amenable. But I'm applying this. That's just my where I'm coming from on it.
I'm with you on that point.
And then what we can do, I think that the motion is simply to just state the new assessment as we wish.
I would state the value, there's three ways, the value reduction, or where you want to be at, or a percentage, and then we'll just do a board override, I think makes more sense from our perspective.
I find there's a big difference with these extra non-Indian trail area. I find them much more desirable areas. I know the house on Moonstone very well. You know, that's about a mile from the ocean. Excellent condition. So,
Alice, what would your opinion of the value of this from an assessment standpoint be?
what we're working on, I agree with coming into the fours.
Would 495 be
That sounds good.
appropriate? Okay.
That sounds good.
I will make a motion to reduce the assessment to or close to 495 for this property. Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? So we're going to leave it up to the staff to figure out how to make that adjustment and go from there for around that number. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Okay, next one is McKelvey, correct? 16?
Just to get the conversation going, this is a property on Columbia Street that was renovated shortly before the sale in 2021. It was purchased for $502,000 in 2021. After what was described in the listing as a complete restoration, the applicant clarified that it involved redoing plumbing, electric, and upgrades to the bath and kitchen. He's currently assessed at $572,000. So to me, it seems the current assessment on face value, if you take the sale price and apply 3 years of appreciation, it seems like a ballpark. Although I know that there were some other comparable assessments nearby that were brought to our attention. We might take a look at. Is this 109 Columbia? Is it 109 Columbia Street? Is that? Yes, correct. Yeah, I mean, he's given a grade of average plus 20, and some of the assessment comparables are at average or average plus 10. But I believe that probably reflects the recent and significant renovation that occurred in 2021. And then the depreciation as effective year built 2007. And some of the other sales that he brought forward, I think, had been renovated less recently and had a higher rate of depreciation. So, I mean, what I'm seeing mostly makes sense. The assessor's opinion makes sense to me based on those factors.
What year did you buy it?
2021.
Okay, in 2022, they put a garage on it.
On the property?
109 Columbia.
Yeah, I mean, he also mentioned 13 Hope Court. That's the one, that was the one that kind of interested me the most, since it was also recently renovated, and it was very close by. So that's the one that, you know, if he's got any kind of case, it's kind of on that one. That one, by the way, sold for $516,000 in 2025 and has an assessment for $398,500. Maybe points to inaccuracies in the assessment of 13 Hope Court rather than to a disparity with the subject. At first glance, 13 Hope Court was rated as average, whereas the subject is average plus 20. 13 Hope Court, I believe that was, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, oh, 19. Sorry, it's, no, it's, thank you, because the dueling assessor comps is sometimes hard to keep a hold of. I don't know. I don't have much more to add.
Let me hand this field card down then. I'm sorry if you don't. You should. You do? Okay. Okay. I'm like, that would be very unlike me not to have that shot. Here.
You mentioned 19 is a 5-bedroom, 13 is a small 2-bedroom. It shows up many years ago.
Yeah, they've got, it's a colonial, average grade 3, and then the building permits were for exterior. There was no interior. 13 Hope. On his appeal form, it says 13, but he might have said, so I can't magically make that happen. My internet's not working either. I don't know what happened. If you want, we can run down and print the field card and run back up. But right now, I'm not able to get on the internet. Oh, whoa. I'm so mad, too. The tech issues are what's going to get us. Yeah, if you don't mind on your cell phones, we might have to look up vision, government. I mean, there's different ways. You let me know what you want to do. But right now, the internet's not cooperating. So the field card's up here. 19 Hope Court. It's a colonial, grade 3, effective year built 1977. 2,158 square feet. I think that is larger than the subject by a little. Subject's 1,373 square feet. Yeah, so I'm looking at now. So last building permit was in 21 to convert the two-family to a single. So yeah, we changed that from a 2 to a 1. I can zoom in. Yeah, I don't see any rentals, at least that we know of. So yeah, they increased. I see what he means by they didn't get that that increase.
The last name of the previous owner of the subject is the same last name as on this property, so it's possible that that is what we're
Yeah,
looking for.
it was an unqualified sale in '21, so the sales do have an impact.
I don't know what this does or doesn't add. I was just, he mentioned it, so I wanted to make sure I ran through it, but I'm not honestly sure what it adds. Did you have any other thoughts and opinions, any of you guys?
I don't really see any valid data here to really look at making an adjustment on this, I guess, is my opinion.
Any other thoughts, Brad,
No,
Alex?
I'm inclined to agree. He's claiming overvaluation. He states opinion of value at $499,000, which is actually maybe less than what he purchased it for 4 years ago. That doesn't seem reasonable to me, or at least nothing was presented. No appraisal, no other data was presented. There's kind of like what he presented was kind of a case for disproportionate assessment based on other assessed properties in the area. But again, I think those all seem to have underlying rationale for where those assessments landed based on size, based on condition. So I don't see anything there either.
And major improvements,
Right.
major renovations,
Right.
and additions, garage.
Right.
So do we have a motion on the floor to
My
deny
motion,
the
yeah.
applicant's
My motion would
request?
be to deny the application
Okay.
for lack of evidence of overvaluation.
I would agree with Brad on lack of evidence and would agree to deny the motion.
I'm in agreement as well. All right, so we have a motion on the floor, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, motion passes. Appeal number 20, Philip Hill.
Few moving parts to this one, but I think maybe what we focus on is the drainage easement situation. I think that interested me and Ken, me and David the most in the hearing. They brought up the fact that there's been no additions and improvements since the last assessment, but I think the increases are market-based, not based on actually making renovations. So. They also mentioned the crawl space a couple of times, Wendy, and I don't know, it looked like crawl space is accounted for in the field card. The crawl space is not she's not being assessed as if she has a basement, right? As I understood the field card.
Yes, correct. So if you look on the back of the field card to the left of the photo building sub area, you'll see crawl space there under gross area, not effective, not living area. So that is being accounted for. Yep. And then one other thing to note, whether you agree with the percentage or not, there is a note on the front of the card, notes town lien drainage easement along the border. So the town's aware of it. We have it noted on the card. The rehab company specifically actually would have put that there. And if you go to the landline valuation section there, you will see a condition factor 2.20. A lot of the abutters have a 2.25. They also have adjustments for location, wet, and they're all a little tomato. But you'll look at that note, there is a location and there's that easement there. It is being accounted for. Whether the board feels like it's sufficient enough, that might be maybe where you might want to head down that road.
Yeah, I think we should take a minute to take a look at the land assessment and how the easement's factored in and kind of just focus our attention there.
So on a positive note, the drainage helps their property because it's not wet. On the negative note, it is an easement that runs through their property that limits their usage of the property. So there is a pro and a con to it, but again, that doesn't, I'm not saying it's a 50-50 thing either, so it definitely affects the value, but there is a pro to it, that water isn't spilling on it, so.
Yeah, she seemed to acknowledge it. She even said that, you know, she didn't have to pay for it, which I thought was, you know, because in some cases, you know, homeowners are often compensated when land is you know, taken or restricted by the government.
It's not exactly on the border.
I think that's what, I mean, they
Yeah,
were
the
very,
location of it certainly is not, again, it affects their property and what they can or can't do, so it essentially cuts their property in half.
almost in half. And I think that, and to be fair, the applicant is not making an extreme case. They refer to it as a third of their property when it's kind of more. You know, generously acknowledge some of the benefits they gain without, but on the other hand, you know, it's not being maintained. It sounds like it's not being maintained by the town as frequently. She's out there scraping the leaves out of the storm drains. She's observing the manhole cover. May need, you know, she's seeing vegetation growing at the end of the swale, which may be due to debris compiling. You know, there's an impact on her property here that I just want to make sure is accounted for in her land assessment. That so she had, I think, even more clearly, she has a large, like basically a triple lot there. It's a very nice sized lot. She can't expand that in that half of her site. So that's, to me, a pretty significant impact on what is a lovely lot on the waterfront. I hope she restores the garden that was destroyed during the process of installing this, you know. So I would just take a close look at the condition factor on this, maybe, the 2.2, and the neighbors you say are at 2.25. So you're giving her like a 0.05 discount on the land? Okay.
You could, just to give you a direction on, you could just throw out like a I'll give you an example, I'm not saying to do this, but 2.00, and then whatever that adjustment will be, or you can give me a percentage or a dollar, and we'll make that work. I would love to give you an estimate on what the value would be, but my computer's acting really weird right now. I don't trust it.
So we don't know what if we did the 2%, what that would be.
If you go from 2.2 to 2, that will be, I guess, a 10% reduction of the land value. Is my back of the napkin math. The land value at $475,000. So
Let me see if we can give you
that would bring it down into the low 400s. The 2.2 then also must include the waterfront aspect, which I think we have to kind of continue to balance, and I think she would understand that she's got. It's true. There was something there before. What was done to her property, she didn't say it, but it benefits not only her, but it benefits the town of South Kingstown and everyone in the neighborhood, too.
Just to give you an idea, if you want, it's cooperating now. So if I move that condition factor to 2.20, if you wanted to go that route, the total appraised parcel value is reduced from 659.9 to 613.3. That's an overall value reduction of $46,600, which, based on the rate of $894, gives the appellant a abatement of $416.60. Just to give you a footprint about where you'll land if you go that route.
I'm okay with something in that neighborhood. I mean,
And that's something that would stay, just so you know.
Right, that would carry
that
forward.
would carry, that other revals, I don't have the appetite to
What is the
bring-
condition
bring
then?
them
Like,
back.
it's you're saying 2.25 along the waterfront, and then the homes that are on the interior. What are those? Is it one?
Just by default, this is frozen from the last appellant that we had, and he was here, 34-213, so she's here, lot 166. So he was at, let me look at that card, because we just had it.
Just trying to figure out the range.
I know, I get it. Let's see. I think he's at okay, so that is a 1.0. So you're right. When you start moving inland, so this is a 1 here. These are most likely all 1s.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe the best we can do here is take that from 2.2 to 2. It's still, she still benefits from a very nice site. Part of it is not developable, but, you know, she's got some buffer, she's got some yard to work with, and it's still waterfront. She's got a, you know, so I would feel comfortable, unless there's a, you know, I would feel comfortable making the adjustment down to 2.0, and I'm happy that that would carry forward. She can bring it back to our attention if, you know, if it should be lower.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so I make a motion then to adjust the condition factor from 2.2 to 2.0.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor, we have a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes.
Just a friendly suggestion, just in the effort to save time, the rest of the listing of appeals, you've got Mary's next, and then you have another one, appeal number 15, Mary's. I'm not sure if you want to look at those both together.
Both of those did not attend, right?
Correct. So that would be appeal number 25 and appeal number 15, just a suggestion.
Yeah.
We have the Brandywine as well.
You have to be out of here at, you want to be leaving here at 12:30ish, right? For lunch? So I don't know if we're going to make all of this. How are we going to,
Here's what I would do. They didn't come, I don't want to deny them outright, but I might suggest that we table this to put these on a future agenda as old business. Would that be okay?
Whatever you tell us
We
to
can
do.
review the materials in the meantime and just be prepared at the next meeting. Maybe they'll show up at that one, but just in the interest of time. I don't think that these will take long to deal with, but it might just make our process more efficient.
I second that motion.
we have a motion on the floor, we have a second. Any discussion? The only question I have is which ones are we looking at again, Brad?
So that would be number 25 and number 15, which are both, is it Mary Carpenter's? Yeah. So
Correct, and then
most
switch over to old,
15.
old business or new business?
So we're going to put that under old business for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Correct, Brad? Is that
Yes, that's my,
number 15 and number 25 and number 15?
that just gives us a little more breathing room here.
So now we tackle the Brandywine?
I think with respect to the Brandywine, we might take a similar approach considering that we have a wave of incoming, and that might give us some time also to review the materials that Wendy shared with us at the meeting today. I don't know if that's a table and put for, I don't know the best way to kind of like continue these or what, but
You have 10 more in the queue. Our appeal cycle, appeal window closes tomorrow.
Right.
I don't know if we'll get any more today or tomorrow, but
If
just
it
to
makes
give you an
sense,
idea.
because I think we could just hear the rest, then deal with them all together on one fell swoop once we have the whole picture. If you guys are amenable to that, I would
I think
suggest.
once we have the full picture, it will be relatively simple. So I think we should wait for the full picture, the puzzle to be complete. So
Exactly.
I would also recommend that we table that.
Yeah, so I would just table these and I'll make the motion to table these and move them forward to the next.
Can we hold on? Do you want me to hold on to these for you, or do you wish to take these so you can review, or would you rather at the end table all of the information here? It's up to you. Honestly, I'm just trying not to make more packets down the road.
I want to, yeah.
It was a lot of work to get the packets done.
Yeah, so you've given us the packet. that with supporting information that I will retain and then use to
Okay.
kind of educate myself.
Okay, can that be part of the motion, just in the effort of administratively trying to save time on packets? Anything that's old business, we can make the assumption that you have that already, and I won't be making new packets for the old business.
So we'll table it as old business on the next agenda, which then includes all the information that we've already received.
And just to be clear, we're looking at appeal number 42 and 44, correct?
47 and
47 and 43.
All right,
So there
okay.
are 4 from Randy
Four,
Weiss.
okay, all right, yeah, all right, yeah, okay. So we're gonna, so what's the correct word? Are we saying table this, or we're just saying,
Postpone to the next.
Say table or move, to old business, just like you did with Mary's, that motion was fine.
we have a motion on the floor to table these four, appeals for the next meeting. Is there any other discussion?
In terms of parliamentary procedure, it would be postponed to a time certain, as opposed to just tabling it. You don't have to.
Good point, Alice.
Good point.
We've had this, when we've had the council with us, and I don't know the distinguishing between, they said continue to, and I think when we table, is it when we table, we have to cite the actual date of the meeting, or?
Oh, Lord, so we should probably say just to the next
that's good.
scheduled meeting.
I want a Robert's rule.
I'm parliamentarian for the
Yeah.
Rhode Island Association.
Thank you, Alice.
Excellent, yes.
So, table, you're saying, okay, forget this one.
All right, so let's not use the word table, that sounds like, not the word we want to use.
That's what I would, maybe we could say
Move to next
continue.
meeting
to the-
under old business, something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe continue to the next meeting, and the next meeting has yet to be determined. Is that, fit Robert's rules? I did read it many, many
I
years ago.
accept the amended,
and
motion.
As per those comments, is that what you're saying, Brad?
Yes.
All right, so, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
I second that motion if it wasn't seconded.
Oh, I wasn't? Okay, all right, sorry about that, yeah. Ken did second that motion, I did not hear it, however he did. Number 15. Oh, wait a minute, that's going into old business, so the only one we got left is number 40, they're not here. Gregory, Stephen, and Dana were not here.
Correct, they did
So-
supply the letter, that's up to you whether you want to take that in place or move it, that's up to you.
Right, and we have 53 as well who did present on those 2 land properties down there. I know the best approach was number 40, since we're kind of going in this without having, I do like to have the benefit of the people here, because, you know, sometimes there's questions that we just can't ask. In this case, there is an appraisal in the packet as well. The date of the appraisal is March 2024, so it's a little bit before the assessment date, but maybe somewhat relevant. And I'll just note, I did look through the appraisal. It was done before the completion of the property, so they still had landscaping work. There's an adjustment in there to account for it, but it points to a value, I believe, of 1.9 million. I just bring that to the board's attention because they are assessed at 2.77 million, and I think that gives us reason to take a closer look. I don't know if we want to get into it today on the kind of in the 11th hour, or if we want to just maybe move this one to the next meeting as well and give us some time to digest it, if that makes sense. It kind of puts a lot forward, but maybe what we want to do today is just get to those 2 land assessment, or the land assessment, the land property, because I'm getting a little worn out myself, and then deal with that one. Curious, if that's okay? I would point out to the board that there is an appraisal, and I would suggest perusing it in preparation for the next time we take it up. It's hard without the applicant here, but
Is the applicant going to try to make the meeting? Do you know that, Wendy? Did they say anything about attempting to make a meeting, or did they just say, we're not going to?
I do not know that, Yeah, let's read it one more time.
Well, I've got the letter here, but I don't remember them saying anything about them trying to make the meeting.
Yeah, it just says that they couldn't attend this meeting, and then
think
here's
it was-
letter. So I don't know if they don't feel comfortable attending a meeting, or it was just this particular one.
I think I saw
don't
that in
have that
the,
knowledge.
From Illinois?
in the correspondence, I believe it was in the email correspondence that you included, if I'm not mistaken.
I agree with Brad. I would forward this to the next meeting, or put this on the, under old business for the next meeting, and this will give us a chance just to look at this a little bit more between now and then, and we'll bring this to the next meeting, and discuss it, under old business at the next meeting to be determined.
I agree, I second that motion.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those
Aye.
opposed, motion passes. Final item is number 53, lot TCW 13.
He's appealing one property of he owns the three. One is improved with a home, and the other two are land parcels that he purchased as buffer.
I'm surprised he's not appealing both of them. Both empty,
What seemed to, I mean, yeah, it seemed to be, yeah, this is an interesting case, isn't it? Because usually when someone comes in having just purchased a property and is asking for an appeal, it's a hard case to make. What he's telling us essentially is I way overpaid for these because I have and I think that is, if you listen to his story and kind of take it at face value and good faith, when you're an abutting property owner, you have a particular motivation, and that's not always reflective of the market. So it's fair to consider whether the most recent transaction here was truly a market sale, or whether it had some additional. It sounds like he had some additional motivation. He also bought it basically sight unseen the day that he was able to reach agreement, and it seems to acknowledge that he overpaid just for the ability to avoid the situation that he fell into in Charlestown, where his butter built a home next to his. I get that. What probably happened here, I'm guessing, is that the Vision and the assessor took the sale, and that became a sale that set the market around the neighborhood. So an interesting case for us to consider is if we apply an abatement, or if we are amenable to his. He has set the market at a certain level for everyone around him, but also then benefits from a reduction himself, which is an interesting dynamic when you're a loan sale in the neighborhood. Why didn't he do that? It seemed like the reason he didn't do both is because one of the lots may be superior in terms of topography, and this one seems to suffer from, that's why I asked for the topographic map, because this one seems to suffer from some site utility factors.
In the past,
consider.
we've asked appellants to do what, if the last meeting, Mr. Fiore, he had gone to, I believe it was, don't quote my memory, but to pre-engineering and had gotten some type of professional opinion on that, and I was waiting for that with the appeal, and I didn't receive it. And just so you know, I worked very closely with the project manager for the reval, specifically with land sales, because we don't really get too many of them. So we only had 2 sales with improved land, residential, vacant, and not. But for potentially developable lots, there were 14 sales, and you heard the gentleman. I mean, it is an exceptional sale, and it was. This has been a challenge always, how heavy we want to weight this. And if you recall the last season, Sycamore Seeger, there was one heavily weighted sale, but it ended up kind of going in the right direction for the town. So we don't really ever know in the beginning until we get everything kind of lined up, and that just didn't happen for the town. So that's why I made the reduction based on the 3.9. I was like, there's no way that's close to 4 point. I mean, he had a case, so I dropped it to the 3.5 for all of those lots. Even lot 12, so that was a reduction. So that's where we're at right now from the town's perspective. Now, whatever it is additional that you might want to ask for, or we don't really do site inspections on vacant land. We rely on the professionals to do the.
I don't think he's
do all
going
that.
to. I mean, he's not purchasing these to ever develop, so I don't think we're gonna ever see engineering or site plan on these. Because of the magnitude of the, you know, the value, it would be, I mean, an appraisal would probably be something that could be obtained and support his claim. It might be supportive if you kind of wipe out his recent sale as something that's off the charts. What I might consider, I mean, one proposal to consider, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I noticed that, you know, you have the land, the condition factor, I believe it's called. You know, on the road frontage, it's at 1, and then it goes to 2.5 for the next road in, that's lot 14.
Pretty much. I mean, if you want to make it like a truffle cake.
I'm thinking about whether, so, and at the top is his 4.0, and the one closest to him that he seems to suggest is a superior site, maybe has superior water amenities, potentially a view, but the one that he's bringing to our attention maybe suffers from, you know, some constraints, and whether it might make sense to go from 1 to 2.5 and bring that one from a 3.5 to a 3, just to acknowledge the site factor differences. I don't know if that makes a massive, you know, change, and I don't want to go too far without more supporting information. But
I think it's important to note that lot 14, the one that he does not own, to the left of lot 13, during the revow, sometimes we have to correct things, right? We don't know unless we see it. So because of that sale, we looked at that one, and that was at a 1, and that was inappropriate for the town and the project. So that sale made that lot discovery, so that went from a 1 to a 2.5. So just be mindful of that change.
Kind of the dynamic that I was getting at the beginning.
I know you said you don't normally take a look at the land. You don't normally look at the land, but you spoke about it being almost like in a valley with no possibility of a view. This might be one where you might want to take a look at what that lot looks like.
Happy to do a site visit if you'd like.
I'm thinking the fact that he said, well, there's no view because there are too many trees.
Jen can't wait. We can go take a look.
It's a nice area.
And, you know,
It'd be a nice day for us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we don't want
Sounds
to go
like
check
the
it out.
office needs a break, you know?
yeah, if he owns it, then he has the option of cutting the trees down. Will there be a view if you were to cut trees down?
Yeah, I think
I am somewhat familiar with this property. This is part of the Calbur estate, and we've done some work for them in the past, and I think he's correct with some of the topography down there.
Yeah.
It would be my suggestion that we physically take a look at this and judge it. So I would make a motion that we table this to the next meeting after doing, whether it's a group or individual site, to make sure, and or ask the applicant to provide us more information to show.
Is it even accessible? Like if anyone from the public drove down there, could
Yes.
they get there?
To my knowledge, you can drive down there. It's a dirt road.
Here's what if the office could, I don't know if you want to reach out to I just don't know if it's on a private road or something. Would you normally call them and just get permission to go, or let them know, or drive by? Because it's on this odd flag shape that seems to be next to the driveway to his. Yeah, not that it sounds like I'm sure he would.
The house was Bob Calbur's at the end, and he owned a lot of property along that road, him and his family. We've sold many parcels of that over the years, and then obviously this is the end. At the end where his property is a beautiful spot, but that's not what we're talking about. The other ones, I don't know if they do have the potential of any views. I really don't.
I can try to work on that topo feature to see if
I was
can
gonna
get
say
this
for
going,
me-
and then just see how much more additional information I can get you.
Exactly. If isn't
Was he? Yeah. All right.
so.
I'm just gonna see if he's hanging out in the
I would
hallway.
say if you want to, yeah, exactly. If Jennifer wants to go, take some pictures, and maybe we get some supplemental topographic or aerial imagery that's available on our GIS, our brand new system or whatever, and then we can just kind of try to take that into account. I don't think, I think that maybe more support would be needed to make big changes. Oh, okay. Oh,
Well, I'm glad you didn't take off. Good
We're talking
questions.
about you.
Have a seat. You can turn the mic on.
No, so the discussion,
We were curious if we could get to the parcel or if we had to airdrop in.
We're
Can
giving
we make
some-
a site visit? Is that possible to drive? Okay, because you mentioned that valley. We'd like to supply photos for the board, and this is so glitchy. I can't get on this GIS site right now, so I'm going to try to get some more of those topo filters and just get more information, if that's okay with you.
The only difficulty that you'll have is knowing where the lot lines are. So
Is the valley in the middle of the lot?
so
you speak of?
you'll see that. So I
Should we
think
be with you?
probably.
Okay. It sounds like we might
It would
need
make
a...
it easier because even just trying to tell you where I believe the lot lines are, it would be difficult.
If you're amenable to that, after here, we can be offline, and then maybe we can make an appointment with you, my deputy and I, and then we can make a site visit, and you can show us exactly what you mean. We'll take photos, and we'll get everything ready for the board, if that's okay with you.
it might make sense while you're there to kind of look at the string of properties too, since we're focusing in on the condition factor on the land.
Yeah.
I mean, we're interested in the kind of the impact of the site conditions and topography on obviously the property that you brought to our attention.
I'm happy to do that, after I absorbed a little bit, because I didn't know about the 2.5 and the 1 and the 5 and all that sort of stuff. What I did see when I looked at it was that the house that's on what I call an island that is connected to the land is a 4.5. The houses that abut the water are a 4. These lots got placed at a 3.5 despite the fact that they don't abut the water. In my world, if you can't put a boat on it, or if you can't go into the water from your property, that is a massive difference. And so I don't really understand the 3.5, but if a site visit helps you in some way, I'm happy to facilitate it.
Would you indicate that the property would have the, you did talk about this, but just, it is your position that there is no possibility of a reasonable water view if you built a house on this property?
I don't know how high you can build the house.
Okay.
So where I am in Charlestown, the height limit goes from the floodplain. So I don't know where the floodplain is, and I don't know whether that's even the rules in this town. So, so I don't know how high you can go, but definitely you can't just build a house and then see the water. You'd have to have some type of mass that was built up to be able to see some type of peak, because straight ahead you're blocked by the house that's in front of you and trees.
Okay. I did tell the board before, I had some experience with this property, but it was a long time ago with the Calborough family. So I think I have an understanding of what you're talking about, but I think it's my recommended along with the board that we do a site visit just to make sure, so that we are very clear on how we're interpreting it.
I think that that's fair. Okay, thank you.
So essentially what we'll do is we're going to table this to the next meeting or postpone it, but in the interim, we'll go get the proper information so that at the next one we can make a decision unless the town supersedes us.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for sticking around.
So I'm assuming that's a motion on the floor, Ken?
Yes, I make that motion, that we continue this to the next one after site visit or more information to determine the potential of the lot.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, do we have a second?
I will second it.
We have a second, is there any other discussion?
The only thing I would ask the assessor's office is maybe if they could notify the board if a time is worked out to do a site visit. I don't know that I'll be able to make it, but if I could, it might make sense for at least one member of the board to accompany them if there's going to be a field day.
Sure. I'll reach out with an email. Obviously, don't respond back individually, and then if anyone's available that day and you want to
We
come
could
with
seek
us.
out any additional topo imagery
Sure.
or anything like that we could do from desktop would help as well.
Sure.
And you might be able to, if you did a drive-by, you might be able to determine if there is the house that is in reference at one, and then at the end, so it's the in-between. Yeah, I think you can get a general idea, even though if the lot lines aren't specific, you can get a general idea. Because again, I'm not sure exactly where in that road my memory goes to that he's talking about, but I have a feeling it's exactly what he says. And this is not a property that could be realistically a water view.
Yeah, I think that whatever we can get from this exercise will be, I think, move us down the field to making a decision next time around. So I did second that, and that's my, yeah.
Thank you for your comments, Brad. The only other question I have, or concern I have, is open meetings. We got to make sure that if a board member does go for a site visit, can we have should we designate one, or should?
If you
what happens we
designate one, I
multiple
don't have
board
to
members?
advertise. If there's more than one, then it tiptoes into me needing to post something. So if you want to designate,
Maybe we can designate, once we have it, if there's a time and date that might fit. I don't have to be there in person,
Okay.
but if it,
yeah, and I think it's a good idea to do a drive-by, as Mr. Monroe suggested, on your free time individually. That makes sense. Maybe that's all it needs to be, but I don't mind reaching out once we secure a date. And like I said, if it's one person, I think we don't have to advertise. If it's more than that, then I'll have to at least make some type of 48-hour notice. I believe it's a 2-day notice.
that's a good point.
I like the idea. I like the thought of reaching out to all of us, and one of us will go once we see when it is. And I guess the other thing is, I would like to see it. I don't know if I'll be able to make that, but I mean, if we could make that clear to anybody down there that, maybe one of us, maybe the 3 of us or 4 of us will go down there and do a drive-by. I'd like to see it. I'm familiar with the
We
area.
could even, I was just throwing this out there, I don't know what the weather's going to look like, because I don't know if we're going to meet in November. We'll talk about that after, but the next meeting date, I know in the past we've done visits. We could schedule it where it's first on the agenda, where we're already posting for our meeting. We can go out, do a site visit, then come back, have it be the first item of business, and then move on. I mean, we've done that years ago. So there's a couple different ways we can deal with it. You just tell me what your appetite is and what you want to do. We can do it.
We have hopped in accessory.
I'd have to coordinate that, because right now we've ordered one, but God only knows when it's coming in. So maybe we'll have a car by then. But if not, we can borrow a builder car. I can get us a car.
I'm open to however you folks want to proceed.
Do any of you fly drones? Anybody have a drone?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I've marked a property where it had a potential view, and one of the buyers hired somebody with a drone, because you can say how many feet high it is,
So they can see what
to see what the view would be potentially. Probably.
No, and I think that, some of this, I think it's kind of up to the applicant to present to us his case, so I don't want to go too far down to do due diligence on behalf of the applicant. I think we can do our site.
I think a drive-by is going to be sufficient to us, because again, I believe what he's telling us is correct, but I would like us to
Our eyes
see
will
it
tell
with our
us.
eyes.
Yeah, our eyes will tell us something that we can kind of bite into at the next meeting. So I would say coordinate with I think the best path might be to coordinate with the property owner, with Jennifer, keep us informed, and we can decide. I think drive-by.
And then you'll do drive-bys on your own, and we'll regroup. And if anything further needs to happen, then that can
Yeah,
still
we can
happen.
see
It's not
where it
like we
lands
don't
and
lose
whether we
that
even need
option.
to or not, so.
Okay, who put that who started that motion? Was it you, Ken?
He did.
I seconded it, yes.
Yeah, I believe we already did it. Yeah, we did, yeah. You're the one that put the motion down. Yeah, and then, okay.
Brad seconded it, and then you kind of got into discussion, so
Yeah,
all in
all
favor.
right, so
I
we're
think
not,
somebody
so are we, just to be totally clear here, are you going to communicate to the board when
I
you're
am
going
going to
down there?
email you
Okay, and
regardless in
we'll
case somebody
take it from
changes
there.
their mind and wants,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Any other business to be discussing today?
One other thing, and I probably should put it on the agenda next, but if we could, to set the next meeting.
Schedule?
Yeah, because I know November, was probably off the table for us because that's why we have it in the end of October. So we might be looking in the beginning of December. If we wanted to try to coordinate a next meeting, that'd be super helpful. If not, we can do it through email as well. But if we could do it now, that would be.
I like it with, yeah, let's do it. Like, Ken, we can strike while we're all here. before we-
Wednesdays seem to be kind of a good midpoint. There's December 3rd or December 10th. No, okay.
I'm not available on the third either.
Second, 4th? December 2nd, Tuesday, 9:30 work for?
Yep, I'm available on the second.
Let me real quick actually look at the calendar and make sure I don't have a meeting. Sometimes we do meetings here. We might have to go in the conference room. I don't think we like the conference room though. Let me just look to see what we have.
Cozy.
It is cozy. You might need to do that. Just bear with me. Let me just take a peek at the calendar.
Okay, so we're looking at December 2nd, Tuesday, 9:30.
The third is, we usually meet on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I think
I'm not available.
Oh, you're not,
I've got the same, like, the state appraisers board always meets on the first Wednesday, so Wednesdays are great, but the first Wednesdays are out for me usually.
because we're looking at Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday's great.
So it looks like the Chambers is booked from 10 to 11 that day for a staff meeting. So it would be more like a noon meeting on the 2nd, or we can book the town hall conference room. I'm not sure how to live stream that. That's a whole nother issue.
I'm flexible on Wednesday. I got decent with it on Wednesday. I'm in Tuesday.
The meeting, that meeting usually goes to 11, but if I could, I'm gonna need time to set the room up and they usually put the table in the middle. I'll have to flip the room, but, if you wanted to do an afternoon meeting on Tuesday, December 2nd, we could do 1 o'clock, if that works. Typically we do mornings, but,
Yeah, I've got a couple things that
Okay.
I can do.
All right.
I could give you like an hour on the Tuesday, but I don't think that, based on
Nah.
precedent, I can't.
I know Monday's aggressive, but Monday, the first, let's see, what's the first look like? Monday's open for town council chambers. We could meet here. Oh, I lied, municipal court. Oh my goodness, we're just so busy in this town. Okay. How's the 4th look for everybody? The morning is open on the 4th, on Thursday.
Yep. That's
Thursday
fine.
the 4th? Want to do Thursday the 4th at 9:30? All right, for now, if that works, yeah, I agree with you.
Morning works. Is 9:30 just to give you guys time to
Yeah,
set up?
we
Okay.
don't get until 8:30. I get in at 8, and it takes me all of that time to set the room up, and even still, I still have to.
So we're looking now at.
Thursday the 4th at
All right.
9:30.
Perfect. Okay, so Thursday, December 4th at 9:30. I'll send an email, and we'll go with that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll turn that over to you or somebody to close this meeting up.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion on the floor, and,
I will second the
we
motion.
have a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you all.